All right. Good day, students. I am now going to discuss to you know, your review on physical science. No? Specifically, we'll start with Earth science. Okay, so let us start. So, Earth science is the study of Earth, its life-supporting properties, materials, and geologic processes occurring in its layers. Okay, so there are four major branches of Earth science. We have geology, oceanography, meteorology, and astronomy. Okay, so we also have, first let us talk about geology. Ano yung geology? No? Geo means earth, no? It's study of earth itself. It's the study of the materials and processes that operate beneath and upon the earth surface. Si oceanography naman, no? Ocean, from the word ocean. Okay, it is the study of composition and movements of seawater as well as coastal processes, seafloor topography, and marine life. Okay, again, included sa study ng oceanography ang marine life. Okay? And then we have meteorology. Okay? It's not about meteor ha, it's about the atmosphere na naa sa Earth. No? It deals with the study of the atmosphere and the elements that produce weather and climate. Then we have astronomy, the study of the universe, our planet's origin, and the members of the solar system. Okay? So let us talk first about the origin of the universe. So there are a theories that tries to explain the origin or yung sinugdanan about sa universe. First, we have a very well-known theory, the Big Bang theory. No? According to the Big Bang theory, the universe started with a small singularity, then inflating over next 13.8 billion years ago. Okay? So according to Big Bang theory, ang age ng universe is about 13.8 billion years. Okay, so nag-start ang Big Bang, although sa Big Bang theory wala gyud bang, no, there is no explosion in Big Bang theory. It's just um, inflation of kini ang matter from a singularity. Okay, so this is the evolution of universe according to Big Bang theory. Okay, and then we have another theory we call the oscillating universe theory. Okay, so the expansion, according to the oscillating universe theory, the expansion of the universe will eventually come to halt. Okay, after daw sa Big Bang, pagka humanog expand sa universe is um, muundang o expand ang universe, and then it will kini ang collapse, returning to its original form, what we call the Big Crunch. Okay, so after Big Bang, okay, niabot siya sa kinang maximum niya nga pag-expand ang universe. After that one is mag-return ang universe into its original form, which we call the Big Crunch. Okay, and then after sa Big Crunch is another Big Bang na po. So it's a cycle of Big Crunch, Big Bang, Big Crunch, Big Bang nga cycle sa universe. That is according to the oscillating universe theory. Okay? And then we have the third theory, which we call the steady state theory. According to this theory, the universe has always existed. No? Meaning wala daw, kung always existed, meaning wala nagsugod, no? Walay sinugdanan ang universe. And that the universe is expanding and constantly creating matter as the universe expands. Unlike manggod sa Big Bang cosmology, no, yung matter is after sa Big Bang, no, wala na create na matter, no. So as the universe expands, the matter in the universe dilutes, meaning ni nagka unsa na kay dako naman ang area sa universe because of expansion, mas nagkalagyo pud ang mga matter. Okay, for example, yung mga planets, yung mga galaxies in the universe, no, nagkalagyo-lagyo sila because the kini ang the universe is expanding, but there is no creation anymore of matter. But in steady state theory or steady state na cosmology, matter is constantly created as the universe expands, as you can see here in the figure, no, sa ubos. Okay, so that is the difference between the Big Bang cosmology, at saka yung sa steady state cosmology. Okay, so let us now talk about the solar system and then specifically about the planets in the solar system. Okay, by the way, Earth science is more on kini ang knowledge man, no? Knowledge based nga kini ang learning, no? You need to memorize this one, you need to remember this one para maka-answer ka sa uh, mga test items, no? Kay wala ka kabalo jud, wa jud kay know-how, wa mo kay ma-answer. So it's a very kini ang na uh, hard na task to remember everything. Okay? So solar system, no? General characteristic ng solar system, tanan is tanan nga sana tanan na object in the solar system revolve around the sun in the same direction. Okay? Nagtuyok sila palibot sa adlaw in the same direction. Tanan. Okay? Tanan nga kini ang object, planets, asteroids, moons is nag nag-revolve sila around the sun in the same object. Okay? So all of the object in the solar system revolves eastward. No, that means from west to east, counterclockwise, yeah. And then all rotate or spin on axis in the same direction except kang Venus o kang Uranus. Okay, we will try to explain mamaya nga nung baliktad ang rotation ni Venus o ni Uranus compared to the other planets. Okay? So it rotates eastward ang mga planets, no, from west to east. Okay? Counterclockwise lang gihapon siya. Again, with the exception of Venus and Uranus. Okay? Now let us talk first about the inner planets or yung mga tatawag natin na terrestrial planets. Tinatawag silang terrestrial planets because their composition, no, especially yung sa surface nila is mostly rocks. Okay, kining mga planets is ang outer surface nila is mostly rocks. Okay, composed of rocks. Yung nagtawag like terrestrial planets compared to yung mga Jovian, no, mga gas planets because yung kadto sila ng mga planets is kini ang ilang surface is more on gases. Okay, we will know more about them mamaya. Okay, first in the terrestrial planets yung pinaka-close na planet and the sun. We call this planet Mercury. Okay, so yung revolution ng Mercury is equivalent to 88 Earth days. Okay, it is the fastest revolving and orbiting planet because ano fastest siya, it's because gamay ra pud ang iyang orbit, no, kay duol man siya sa sun. Okay, unang dugay siya or dali ra siya mahuman og isa ka orbit niya or isa niya ka revolution because gamay ra man pud ang distance niya from the sun. Okay, or duol na iyang distance from the sun. Okay, it is again the closest planet to the sun. It has very little atmosphere because of the low gravity. So because low gravity siya, meaning dili kayo siya makagunit og kini ang gases, no, in its atmosphere, ang gravity ni Mercury. But that is why it has a very low atmosphere. Again, the atmosphere it talks about gases, no, sa kini ang sa ka-planet. Okay? So during daytime, yung temperature ni Mercury is 315 degrees Celsius. Grabe kainit, no? Remember na ang boiling point ng water is kanang magbukal lang ang tubig. It's 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's 3 times nga nakainit ang iyang during daytime ni Mercury. And then during nighttime naman, grabe po siya kabugnaw. Okay, it's negative 149 degrees Celsius during nighttime. Okay, bugnaw na kayo ng ice, no, or the freezing point sa water is 0 degree man, no. So, bugnaw na kayo ng ice sa paka ng negative 149 degrees. It's a very extreme na temperature ang nasa Mercury. Okay? Next to the inner planets, second one is the Mercury, sunod is Venus. Okay? Si Venus is the brightest planet in our solar system. Okay? It is also known as the evening star during the month of March and April, and it is also known as the morning star during the month of September and October. Okay? So, you consider si Venus as the twin planet of Earth because similar sila ng size, at saka yung composition ni Earth, si Venus. That is why it is called the twin planet of Earth. So yung one revolution ni Venus is equivalent to 243 Earth days. Okay? So it is also considered as the hottest planet. Although ikaduha rin siya next to Mercury, closest to the Sun, si Venus yung hottest planet. Up to 480 degrees Celsius yung temperature in Venus. Okay? So it is the closest neighboring planet sa atoang kalibutan, which is the Earth. Okay? And then the third inner planet is kini atong planet, the planet Earth. Okay? It is a blue planet. Yung revolution ng ating planet is 365 days. Okay? It has a tilted axis, no? Naghirig ang iyang axis into 23.5 degrees. By the way, yung tilted axis ng Earth is what causes seasons in our planet. Diba? Natay 4 seasons. We have winter, summer, fall, of autumn. Okay? Again, the reason nganong naatay seasons in Earth because of the tilted axis of Earth. Okay? Um, Naghirig siya into 23.5 degrees ang iyang axis. Okay? So it is located in the habitable zone in the solar system. Okay? It is the only planet with life, no? Kaya although na ay explorations na with NASA to other planets na, pero wa pa gid sila ang firm na evidence that there is life in other planets. Okay? So its rapid rotation on its axis, what we call the equatorial bulge, makes the shape of the Earth an oblate spheroid. Okay? Dili kini ang sphere ha. Normal nga sphere ang kini ang shape ni Earth. It's oblate spheroid ang iyang shape. Okay? So Earth has a natural satellite, what we call the moon. Okay? So si moon is a natural satellite of the Earth. Okay? And then last of the inner planets or last of the terrestrial planets is what we call Mars or the red planet. Okay? So si Mars, yung revolution niya is equivalent to 2 Earth years. Okay? Duha ka tuig sa kalibutan is kaisa na siya nga revolution sa Mars. Okay? So it has 2 moons. We have the Phobos and the Deimos. Okay. So after ni Mars in the solar system, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth. After ni Mars is what we call the Asteroid Belt. Okay? It is in between si Asteroid Belt between ni Mars at saka ni Jupiter. Okay? So yung mga asteroid no in the asteroid belt no, they are kini ang mga materials that failed to become a planet during the formation of the solar system. Okay? So it can have ang asteroid can have a grain size up to hundreds of kilometers in diameter ng mga asteroid. Okay? So the largest asteroid which is considered by NASA as a dwarf planet is si Ceres. Okay? And then the closest asteroid naman to the Earth is what we call Hermes. Okay? So we are done with the inner planets or the terrestrial planets. Now let us proceed with the outer Jovian at saka yung gas planets because most of their surface are gases. Kung nagtawag sa mga gas planets. First is what we call Jupiter, which is the largest planet in the solar system. No? It is a ring planet, although dili kayo dense ang ihang ring, no? Like Saturn, na ay ring na nagpalibot sa yaha, it still have a ring si Jupiter, pero dili kayo dense like kang Saturn. Okay? So Jupiter has 67 moons. Okay? Nganong daghan og kini ang moons si Jupiter? It's because of its kini ang very strong gravitational force. Okay? Nagdepende ang kadaghanon sa moon nga magunitan sa isa ka planet, depende po na siyang gravitational force. Kay og hina gud siya og ang planet hina og kini ang gravitational force ang planet, meaning dili siya maka-pull og kini ang other objects in the space no nga mo'y mag-orbit sa iyaha. Okay? Tungod sa gravitational force ni Jupiter. Dako siya nga planet, meaning dako po siya mas more ang iyang gravity. Okay, that is why dako ang iyang gravitational force. Okay, so there are kini ang most known nga mga uh, kini ang planet I'm sorry, most known nga moons by sa Jupiter is what we call the Galilean moons, no? It was kini ang discovered by Galileo Galilei, no? Yung gitawag siya Galilean moons, si Io, si Europa, si Ganymede, and si Callisto. Okay, so yung giant red spot in the Jupiter, no, is what we call a storm. Pag naay giant red spot, grabe guro nakadako nga storm, no, kay mag-create man gid siya og red spot in the planet. Okay? So it is a storm in Jupiter, ang giant red spot. Then after Jupiter, we have Saturn. Ayan, no? Si Saturn is a ring planet, no? Yung ring ni Saturn is made up of ice, rocks, at saka dust, no? It is a very dense, that is why visible siya with our telescopes, no? Unlike kang Jupiter, although na ring si Jupiter, but it's kini ang dili kay siya dense, okay, mo nang dili kay siya maklaro, but it still has ring si kini ang Jupiter. Okay, so Saturn has four major rings and 100 of ringlets, and it has 62 moons, and Titan is the most largest moon in Saturn. Okay, next is Uranus. Okay, si Uranus has at least 27 moons nga na-discovered, no? And it has 13 known rings, then followed by Neptune. By the way, si Uranus is the most considered as the most unloved na planet. Kano gitawag mo siya the most unloved na planet? Because although there are explorations with other planets, no, wala kaayoy kini ang explorations from NASA nga nag-send o kini ang nag-send from NASA to Uranus. Mura siya gi-consider most unloved planet. Mura ginabaliwala lagi siya nga planet ba. Okay? So next with Uranus is the last planet in our solar system, in which we call Neptune. Okay, Neptune has at least 8 moons. It is still a ring planet. Again, yung ring ni Neptune is not dense compared to Saturn. Okay, so it is the fourth largest planet in the solar system, and it is colored blue due to kini ang hydrocarbon na methane, no, very rich in methane si kini ang um, Neptune. Okay, and then we have Pluto, which is considered now as a dwarf planet. It is not a planet anymore, no, according to NASA. Si Pluto is now considered as a dwarf planet. Okay, so si Pluto nahimo siyang planet during the years 1930 up until 2006. Okay, so Pluto is found and is the largest body in the Kuiper Belt or the Oort cloud. It is a belt of kini ang asteroids and other dwarf planets, no, outside the solar system. Okay, so Pluto has 5 moons: si Charon, si Nix, si Hydra, Kerberos, at saka si Styx. Okay, so Pluto has a highly elliptical nga orbit around the sun. Si Pluto is still kini ang ga-orbit siya around the sun. Okay, so we have here the Kuiper Belt, ayan, as you can see, no? And then we have here the orbit of kining naka-orange na orbit. It's the orbit of Pluto, no? Um, as you can see, it's very kini ang elliptical mo siya nga na elliptical, unlike aning mga circular nga orbit, okay, sa ubang planets. Si Pluto is highly elliptical ang iyahang orbit. Again, si Pluto is found in the Kuiper Belt or the Oort cloud, okay, nga nagpalibot sa solar system. Okay, now let's talk about the Earth's moon. Okay, so yung gravity ng Earth's moon is 1/6 compared to the gravity sa Earth. That is why na mga salida no nga gaadto og moon ang mga tao, no, mura sila nagbag-ambak-ambak mura galupad. It's because ang gravity sa moon is lesser compared to the gravity sa Earth. Okay, So in comparison naman sa size, no, yung size ni moon is only one-fourth of the Earth's size. Okay? So, si moon is formed from the bombardment and volcanic activity filled with lava to produce a surface. We really don't know kung asa jud unsa na. I don't know if nakakita na mo atong salida nga moonfall, no, in which si moon is kini ang a mega structure, no, na ay sulod sa moon is grabe nga technology dito nga kini ang nasa sulod sa moon. It's sci-fi mga salida naman na sila. And again, si moon together with earth, no, is the same sila, the same time sila na form during the formation of the solar system. Okay? So, yung rotation ng moon at saka yung revolution niya around the earth is the same lang. Okay? 27 and one-third days. No, that is why yung makikita natin during kini ang full moon, no, side sa moon is the same lang because parehas ra kapaspason ang iyang rotation o ang iyang revolution around the earth. Gitawag nato na siya nga phenomenon as the tidal locking. Okay, that is why one ay reason nga nung same side of the moon lang atong makita facing the earth, it's because of tidal locking. Meaning, when we say tidal locking, meaning ang pag-rotate ug ang pag-revolve sa isa ka object around another celestial object is the same ang ilahang pag-rotate o pag-revolve. Okay? Now let's talk about the phases of the moon. There are 8 phases of the moon, no? So yung phases of the moon repeats every 29 and a half days. Okay? So again, there are 8 phases. We have here the new moon. Okay? New moon is not visible during the night, ha? Dili nato makita si new moon during the night. And saka, um, mahitabo lang ang solar eclipse pag naatay new moon. Okay? Pag walay new moon, dili mahitabo ang solar eclipse. Okay, remember that one. So we have new moon, and then after sa new moon is the waxing crescent moon, this one here. Kini murag C nga pabaliktad, ayan. Then we have the first quarter moon, ayan, nakita ang katunga, no? Right side sa moon. And then after that one is the waxing gibbous moon. Alright? Then full moon dayon, which is kini mo ni ang permitted nato makita, no? Full moon. Grabe kahayag sa bulan ana nga time. Then after sa full moon is the waning gibbous moon, and then the last quarter moon, and then we have also the waning crescent moon. Okay? Then after that one, balik na po sa new moon. Okay? So I have mentioned kanina yung solar eclipse, no, which happens if na ay new moon. Okay? So we have two types of eclipses. We have the lunar at saka yung solar eclipse. Ano yung pinagkaiba ng lunar at saka solar eclipse? Lunar eclipse happens during the night. Okay? Kasi yung shadow or yung katong anino ng earth, no, is kini ang mag-cast siya or mag-fall siya to the moon. Okay? So yung formation ng earth, sun at saka yung moon is kini ang linear ang ilang formation, no? Sun, earth, nagpatunga sa earth, and then si moon na dayon. That's what you can see here. Okay? We have here the sun, we have here the earth, at saka we have here the moon. So yung shadow ng earth, no, nga mag-cast padulong sa ato ang moon, mo na makabuhat sa ato ang moon nga natin gitawag nga kini ang lunar eclipse, in which the moon turns red. Okay? So natin gitawag nga full nga lunar eclipse, in which magfall ang kini ang moon sa kini ang kini ang umbra na shadow ng earth. Okay? Next type of eclipse is what we call the solar eclipse, which happens during the day. No, baliktad yung formation ng sun, earth at moon. No, nasa tunga si moon this time. No, dili si earth ang wala ang sa tunga. So ang nasa tunga is kini ang si moon. Okay, so moon's shadow fall on the earth. Ayan. So ito yung formation ng solar eclipse. Meron tayong tinatawag na solar full na solar eclipse o kini partial na solar eclipse. Pag full nga solar eclipse kining point nga kini ang pinaka darker nga shadow sa moon mo ay mag-fall sa earth. Okay? Yung umbra na shadow. Pag ang ma-fall lang na shadow from the moon is yung penumbra katong dili kayo gray, slightly gray lang na shadow is what we call the kini ang partial eclipse. Full or total eclipse pag kini ang umbra na shadow ang mag-fall sa moon. Partial eclipse naman pag yung penumbral shadow yung mag-fall sa earth. Okay? And then we also have tides, no? Tides are caused by the gravitational force of mostly by the moon. At saka meron tayong tide that is caused by the gravitational force by the sun. Okay? Spring tides are the highest tides at saka yung lowest na tides. Mahitabo ang spring tides if naglinya si Earth, si Moon, at saka si Sun. Okay? So, we have here, during this time, pag maglinya na sila, no, na ay mahitabo na highest tide at saka yung lowest tide here. We have a pointer. So, highest tide here, no, kana ang tubig sa dagat nga nagatubang sa moon o sa sun, highest tide na sa dinha, and then lowest tide in the other part of the earth, no, in which wala nagatubang ang earth sa kinyang adlaw o sa bulan. Okay? And then we have also the neap tides, katong normal lang nga tide, no. Neap tides happen if the sun, the earth at saka si moon, ang ilahang formation is kini ang naka right angle ang ilang formation. As you can see here, naka right angle, no. Ayan. So regular tides, neap tides, okay? Regular lang ang pagka high tide niya o ang pagka low tide. Okay. So we have this term called perigee, no? When we talk about yung distance ni moon which is closest to the earth. And then apogee naman if the distance of the moon is farthest from the earth. Okay? Apogee. Yan. Apogee, perigee. Perigee meaning duol si moon sa earth. Because the orbit of the moon is elliptical siya. Okay? Mao na nga naay time nga duol si moon, apoy time nga layo si moon sa earth. Okay? Pag duol si moon sa earth, it's what we call perigee. Pag layo naman si moon sa earth, it's what we call apogee. Okay? So, let us also talk about lunar missions or yung mga space missions nga nahitabo in the past, no? We have this dog called Laika. It's a stray dog, no, from Russia nga gipadala nila sa outer space para i-test, no, kung makasurvive ba ang makasurvive ba ang living organism in the outer space. So si Laika is again a dog na gipadala sa mga Russia in the outer space. Okay? It's a stray dog, no, meaning kanang asong kalye ba. Gipili siya ang asong kalye because stray dog wala man sila mga puy-anan, wala man nagbuhi nila, no. So that is why gipili siya kay mas kini ang sana mas taas og survivability ang katong mga stray dog kay aga palagoy-lagoy ra sa compared ato mga iro gyud nga kini ang sana ginabuhi, no. So si Laika ang pangalan sa iro nga first nga ning gawas sa kini ang sana outer space. And then we have the first successful manned mission to the moon. Okay? It's what we call the Apollo 11 na mission by the Americans. Okay? So there are kini ang tulo ka tawo, no, nga nagsakay aning Apollo 11 na mission. We have the Neil Armstrong at saka si Buzz Aldrin. Si Neil Armstrong o si Buzz Aldrin, sila lang itong nakatungtong sa moon, no. Ang katulong nga tao nga si si Michael Collins is nagsakay lang siya sa rover. No, wala din siya ninaog sa moon. Pero tulog yun sila katao in the Apollo 11 na mission. So it happened on July 16, 1969. Okay? The next followed by the Apollo 12, the second manned mission landing on the moon, and then the last and final manned mission landing on the moon is what we call the Apollo 17 na mission. Okay, so we are done with with the moon. Let us talk now about the sun. Okay, so let's proceed again with the sun. Okay, so yung sun natin sa solar system is a yellow star. It's an average color, no? So isa ka star ang yellow. Okay, so yung energy nga gina-emit, no, or gina-transmit sa sun is from the nuclear fusion of hydrogen atoms na nasa sun, okay, to produce helium at saka yung energy na kanang in a form of radiation nga mo abot sa ato ang planet. Okay? So pagduol si pagduol ang Earth sa Sun, we call that one as perihelion. Okay? Aphelion naman pag kini ang layo si Earth from the Sun. Okay? Um, yes, layo si Earth from the Sun, which is kini ang aphelion ang tawag. Aphelion away palayo. Perihelion near paduol day paduol. Paduol. Paduol si Earth sa Sun. Aphelion away si Earth sa Sun. Okay? Do not be kini ang usa na confused with perigee and apogee. Apogee talks about the distance of the moon. Aphelion or perihelion is kini ang it talks about the distance of Earth from the sun. Okay? Pag layo si Earth from the sun, it's aphelion away, okay, away from the sun si Earth up A. Pag duol pod si Earth, pag paduol si Earth, perihelion siya. Okay? Pag paduol si Earth sa sun, perihelion siya. Okay? So we have here the parts of the sun. We have the corona, the chromosphere, the photosphere, and we also have this convection zone, the radiative zone, and the core of the sun. Okay? So again, na ay nuclear fusion nga nahitabo in the sun. Nag-fuse ang nucleus ni duha ka hydrogen na to form helium, and then na ay ma-emit na energy from that nuclear fusion na mo travel, no, as a form of radiation from the sun padulong sa solar system, the rest of the solar system. Okay, so again, the photosphere, no, ato ang picture diri kagaina, this one, photosphere, this one here. The photosphere is the visible surface of the sun kanang atong makita, no, during daytime. Okay, so it is si photosphere ang ato ang gina-measure, no, from another side sa sun na ay photosphere da nato ma-measure ang iyahang diameter sa sun. Okay, so si chromosphere o si corona is wala siya gina-include in measuring the diameter of the sun. Okay, so chromosphere here is the color sphere. You know, it's a thin layer of red light during the eclipse. Okay, makita lang natin yung chromosphere together with corona during a total solar eclipse. Okay, so si corona naman is the outermost region. No, it's a crown of light during a total eclipse, and it becomes visible to Earth during na po sa total eclipse. Yeah. Okay? And then meron din tayo tinatawag na sunspots, which is created by strong magnetic fields. And this ang sunspot in the sun is a cooler and darker portion of the sun's surface. Okay? Although it's not part of the part sa sun, no? I need you to remember this one, midnight sun, no? Midnight sun is a phenomenon in which the sun shines all the time, both day and night. No? So mahitabo ng midnight sun sa summer. So na, bisan to gabing tutok na hayag lang gyapon ang ilahang lugar. No? During summer, mahitabo siya in the south of kini ang Antarctic Circle, and also in the north of Arctic Circle, at saka including sa northern Norway, no, may naa sila midnight sun sa northern Norway. Okay, so that's it. Okay, Now let's proceed with the difference between asteroid, meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite. No, sa so, kalahian ani nila. Kung may tag asteroid, katong nasa ato ang asteroid belt, di ba? These are small rocky objects that orbit the sun. Although asteroids orbit the sun like planets, they are much smaller than planets. Okay? Tawagon nato siyang meteoroid pagka tong asteroid is na ay kini ang ningliki ba na or naay ning kung siya na nag-crack siya ba o niya nabungkag ang isa ka asteroid din katong mga debris from the asteroid is what we call the meteoroid. Okay? Yung mga debris cracks no sa asteroid kung nabuak ng mga asteroid kaya bangga-bangga sila katong mga gagmay nato siya nga mga debris is what we call the meteoroid. Okay? Kining meteoroid, if it enters our atmosphere, again, si meteoroid, if it enters our atmosphere, it will be called as meteor. O nang natay ginatawag na meteor shower because naay mga meteoroid ganing sulod sa ato ang atmosphere. Okay? So, kining meteor naman, okay, kining meteor pag mulad na siya sa ato ang um, land surface, no, sa yuta, pag maabot na siya sa yuta, si meteor, tawagon na nato siya og meteorite. Okay, again, si meteor, when it hits the land, it will be called as meteorite. Okay, that is the difference between meteor, meteorite, meteoroid, asteroid. Okay, so ayan, meteoroid here, okay, nasa sa space, no? Pag musulod si meteoroid sa ato ang atmosphere, it will be called as meteor. Pag mo land na siya or mo hit na siya sa ato ang surface sa Earth, it will be called as a meteorite. Okay? And let's also talk about comets. Okay? Comets, no, pag layo sila sa sun is dili ingani ilahang porma. Comets, no? Mo siyag naa sila ikog-ikog, no? Kining dust tail niya og ihang ion tail. Okay? Again, si comet pag layo siya sa sun is dili ingani ihang porma, no? Mura ra siya bulang ice si comet pag layo sa sun. So ingani ang iyang form no sa isa ka comet if magpaduol siya sa sun because um, siya na evaporate yung ice at saka yung mga gases in the comet no mo nang natay gitawag nga dust tail o ion tail. Okay, kay mga ice na sila o mga gas nga nag-dissolve because of the temperature of the sun. Okay, so comets means long-haired. Okay, as you can see here, mura siya long hair ang iyang tail. Okay, so it is a small body of rock, iron, ice, methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide that orbit the sun elliptically. Okay, so it has a nucleus, a comet, no? Nucleus called the coma, and the tail point away from the sun in a slightly curved manner due to solar winds. This one here. Okay? So, yung pinaka kini ang popular no or well-known na comet is si Halley's Comet, no? Si Halley nga comet is kini ang mag-appear siya every 76 years. Okay? So let's talk about stars, no? Again, si Sun nato is a star, ha? It's a yellow star. It's a yellow type of star. Okay, si star, most of the stars are a ball of hydrogen and helium. Okay? So yung pinaka hottest nga star is kanyang nasa color nga blue. Okay? Followed by blue-white, then white, yellow-white, then average na temperature ng star is yung na ay color yellow like our sun na star. Okay? Then followed by red-orange, and then ang pinakabugnaw nga star is kanon na ay color nga red na star. Okay? So, stars form groups no in the sky na natawag nato constellation. So again, constellation are group of stars forming recognizable pattern in the sky. Okay? Ginagamit ang mga constellation in sa una ay astrology, no? But now astrology is not kanyang a science anymore, it's a pseudoscience na. Okay? So yung pinakaduol nga stars, except sa atong sun, ha, pinakaduol nga star no sa atong solar system is si Proxima Centauri, and then yung pinaka brightest naman na star nga ato ang makita here sa Earth is si Sirius. Okay, And then yung largest known star is what we call the Oiskutty of Scutum nga star. Okay? And we also have this one, yung pinaka-importante nga star sa mga um, mangingisda sa una na to, wala pa'y compass, wala pa'y mga navigation na devices. Si Northern Pole Star or si Polaris, no? Makita siya sa Ursa Minor nga constellation. Si Polaris or si Northern Pole Star is ginagamit siya sa mga sakay og barko, no? Kay si Northern Pole Star is lagi na siya permanente sa uh, kini ang taas sa North Pole, no, makita nimo siya. So mag-navigate ang mga mangingisda or ang mga kini ang sana sakay sa barko sa una is ginagamit nila si Northern Pole Star or ginatanaw na si Northern Pole Star para makabalo sila asa sila padlong. So it is used in navigation si Northern Pole Star. Tung wala pa compass before. Okay? So we are done with moons, stars, asteroid, no? Now let us talk about Philippine satellite, no? Although si Philippine is kini ang dili ka siya advanced in terms of kini ang outer space na mga mission, no? But si Philippines today is na sila mga satellite nga go-orbit sa ato ang planeta. Okay? So the first nga satellite, Philippine satellite is what we call the Diwata 1, which is a microsatellite. Okay? Ito yon si Diwata 1. Okay? Si Diwata 1 is the first Philippine microsatellite built and designed by Filipinos. Okay? Mga Filipino ang nagbuhat ani o sila po na nag-design ani. Okay? Gilaunch si Diwata 1 on March 23, 2016, and then yung mission type ni Diwata 1 is only for Earth's observation. It's not military type na kini ang satellite. Okay? So, nibalik ni si Diwata 1 no, sa ato ang nag-end ang iyang service on April 6, 2020. Si Diwata 1. Okay? And then we have the second satellite nga to ang gilaunch, what we call the Maya 1 nga satellite. It is a cube satellite. This one here. It's much smaller sa Diwata 1 nga satellite. Okay? So it is the first Philippine nano satellite, si Maya 1. Okay? So gilaunch siya on June 29, 2018, and then nag-end ang iyang service on November 23, 2020. Okay? And then we also have Diwata 2. Okay, si Diwata 2 is still in orbit today. So it is the second Philippine microsatellite. Okay, si Diwata 1 is first Philippine microsatellite. Si Diwata 2 naman is the second Philippine microsatellite. Again, built and designed by Filipinos. So, si Diwata 1, nagsunod man siya ni Maya 1. I'm sorry, si Diwata 2, nagsunod man siya ni Maya 1. It is considered as the third Philippine satellite. Okay? So, gilaunch siya on October 29, 2018. Again, Earth's observation lang ang iyang mission type. Dili siya pang-military nga satellite. Okay? And then the fourth nga Philippine satellite is what called the Maya 2. Okay? It is the second cube satellite sa Pilipinas. Okay? Again, designed and developed by Filipino scholars, sent to Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. Okay? Launch date, again, si Maya 2 is also still in orbit today. No? Gilaunch siya on February 21, 2022. I'm sorry, 2021. Okay? Kining pag-launch nato sa ato ang mga satellite is wala tag gagamit nga kaugalingon natong rocket, no? Palupad tag rocket. Nakisabay ra ni o nakihitch ra ni ato ang mga satellite sa rocket sa Japan, rocket sa Amerika para maka-orbit sila. Okay? Wala man gud tay capability pa nga mag produce o kini ang rocket nga mao'y magdala sa atong satellite in the outer space. Okay, mo nang makisabay ra ta sa katong naay capability nga mga countries nga mag-launch og satellite o kini mag-launch og rockets in the outer space. Okay? Newest Philippine satellite is si Maya 3 at saka si Maya 4. No? Man yung pinaka-latest nato ng Philippine satellite. Okay? So, they are the first nano-satellites built in the Philippines. Again, mga Pinoy hapon ang nagbuhat o nag-design ani nga satellite, but these two nga mga nano-satellite is mo ni sila ang pinaka-first nga mga nano-satellite na gibuhat mismo dinhi sa Pilipinas. Okay? So, gilaunch sila on August 29, 2022 at 3:14 p.m. So, ito yung Maya 3 at saka yung Maya 4. Again, naki-hitch na gihapon nga ito ang mga satellites sa rockets sa America. Okay? Now, let's talk about kini ang spheres, no, na nag-divide sa ato ang planet, which is Earth. Okay? We have here the lithosphere, the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and first let us talk about the lithosphere. Lithosphere is kini ang uh, it is made up of the crust at saka yung upper mantle sa lithosphere. Okay? So, si crust, no, kana atong ginalakwan-lakwan karon, it's part of the crust of the earth, no, it is the outermost layer of the earth. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag na oceanic crust at saka yung continental crust. Oceanic crust, katong crust nga that is ubos sa dagat, no. It is a thinner layer nga crust, no. The rocks are younger and denser. It forms the ocean basins made of kiniang basaltic na rock. Si continental crust naman, kanang ato ang nakawlakawan karon nga yuta, okay? It is a thicker layer sa nga crust. It forms the continents and shallow waters close to the shores. So it is made up of kiniang granite na rock compared sa oceanic na rock. Oceanic na crust which is made up of basaltic na rock. Okay? So again, si lithosphere is made up of the crust at saka yung upper mantle. Okay? So another layer of the earth is next to crust, no, paubos is si mantle. Okay? Si mantle is a rocky na kini ang part sa earth's layer. It is made up of silicon, oxygen, iron, manganese or magnesium. I think it's manganese. It's magnesium. Okay? It's magnesium, calcium, and is a denser part of the Earth's layer compared to crust. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na upper boundary or your upper layer ng mantle, also known as the Moho or the Mohorovičić discontinuity in honor of Andrija Mohorovičić. Okay? Murag ko ano siya. So, nga pangalan. Okay? So, it is the boundary between the crust at saka the mantle. No? Yung upper boundary ng mantle. Okay? And then, the lower boundary naman, or the Gutenberg discontinuity, in honor of Benno Gutenberg, it's a boundary between the core at saka yung lower mantle. Okay? So, the center ng Earth's layer is what we call the core. Okay? It is the innermost central part of the Earth. It is made up of liquid, no? Iyang outer core is primarily made up of kiniang iron and nickel. At saka yung inner core naman is primarily made up of iron at saka solid yung iron na nasa inner core sa atoang Earth. Okay? So there are changes in the lithosphere, mostly caused by kiniang movement of the tectonic plates or kiniang earthquakes. Okay? So because of this, kiniang nausab, no, ang kiniang form sa ato ang lithosphere. But there is a kiniang interesting theory na explain sa kiniang change in the lithosphere sa ato ang planeta. Okay? We call this theory as the Continental Drift theory, okay, by Alfred Wegener. Okay? So according sa Continental Drift theory, no, kini ang sa una is kini ang isa pa lang na siya ka supercontinent, what we call the Pangaea. Okay? Wala pa daw na nagbulag-bulag ang mga kini ang continents nga naa sa tuwa karon, no? It's a one supercontinent called Pangaea. Okay? So, ang evidence na gipresent ni Alfred Wegener to support his theory is kini ang jigsaw-like shapes sa South America at saka sa Africa. This one here. Kung imuha daw ipaduol si South America o si Africa nang mura siya o kini ang jigsaw like nga kay ang shape, no, mo sila nagsumpay ba nga sumpay sila sa una ba nga nagbulag na karon. Okay, um, pero wala man nagbulag ang mga continent, no, sumpay ra magyapon sila ilalom sa tubig na nagsumpay ra magyapon na sila, pero kay mao may ilahang explanation. Okay, and then there is kini ang no other explanation but nga nag-explain aning changes in the lithosphere. Okay, this is the very common theory in explaining the changes in the lithosphere, the Continental Drift theory by Alfred Wegener. Okay? So as what I have said kanina, no, yung mga minimal na changes in lithosphere is made caused by earthquake o tsaka yung movement ng mga tectonic plates. Okay? So an earthquake is any movement of the ground due to volcanic eruption or tectonic plate movement. So meron tayong tinatawag na foreshock, main shock, at saka yung aftershock. Ano ba yung pinagkaiba? Si foreshock, nahitabo siya before the main shock sa isa ka earthquake. Si main shock mo ang pinaka-strongest, pinaka-kusog nga uyog, no, sa yuta, no, during an earthquake. So it is a series of kini ang strong na kini ang seismic wave. Okay, si main shock. And then after ni main shock na alday mga mas weaker na nga mga earthquake or quake after ni main shock, what we call the aftershock. Okay, so during earthquake meron tayong tinatawag na focus or yung origin sa isa ka earthquake, asa yun nagikan ang kini ang movement sa kini ang Earth's layer. Okay? Si focus is the point of origin where the movement of the fault happens. So it is below the ground. Okay? Pero kung mayroon taog above siya the ground sa focus, it's what we call the epicenter. Okay? Again, know the difference between focus at saka epicenter. Si focus is the point of origin where the movement of fault happens. No, it is below the ground. Si epicenter naman, it is the place above the focus. Okay? Then meron tayong tinatawag na magnitude at saka yung intensity. Ano ba yung kinagkaiba ng magnitude at saka intensity? Si magnitude is the measurement of energy released by an earthquake. No? It is measured by a Richter scale. Okay? Si intensity naman is kini ang the damage, talks about the damage produced and the reaction of people measured by Mercalli intensity scale. Okay? Again, ang kinagkaiba ni magnitude, it is the energy released by an earthquake at the focus. It is calculated from earthquakes recorded by an instrument called seismograph or specifically yung Richter scale. Ang intensity naman, it is the strength of an earthquake perceived, no, according to the people nga naka-experience sa earthquake, perceived and felt by the people in a certain locality. So intensity is generally higher near the epicenter of the earthquake.